I remember being 10 years old, sitting on the cracked steps outside our small house, watching the sun disappear behind buildings that looked much bigger than my dreams. At that age, life felt simple, but even then I could sense something heavy in the air, like the world was quietly asking me to grow up faster than I wanted to. My father worked long hours and rarely spoke, and my mother carried her worries in silence. I learned early that not everything broken makes a sound. That was my first lesson. People can be hurting right in front of you, and you might never notice unless you truly look. As I stepped into my teenage years, I thought I understood the world. I thought I understood people. I thought I understood myself. I was wrong about all three. I chased friendships that faded, trusted people who disappeared, and said things I wish I could take back. There were nights I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, replaying moments where I could have been kinder, braver, or simply quieter. I learned that words once spoken have a life of their own. They travel far beyond the moment, leaving marks you cannot erase. That was the second lesson. Choose your words carefully, because they can build a home in someone's heart or burn it down completely. In my early 20s, I believed life was about proving something, proving I was enough, proving I could succeed, proving I mattered. I worked endlessly, chasing money, chasing validation, chasing a version of success that didn't even belong to me. I remember the first time I achieved something I had dreamed of for years. I thought it would fill the emptiness inside me. It didn't. The applause faded, the excitement disappeared, and I was left with the same quiet loneliness I had been running from. That was when I realized that achievement without purpose is just noise. That was my third lesson. Success means nothing if you don't know why you're chasing it. And love came into my life like a storm I wasn't prepared for. It was beautiful, overwhelming, and at times destructive. I gave my heart without understanding how fragile it really was. I held on too tightly when I should have let go, and I let go too quickly when I should have stayed. I remember the day I lost someone I thought I would spend my life with. It felt like the ground beneath me had disappeared. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, couldn't imagine a future that didn't include them, but time, in its quiet and patient way, carried me forward. Slowly, painfully, I began to understand that love is not about possession, it's about presence. That was the fourth lesson. The right people don't need to be held on to tightly because they choose to stay. And in my 30s, life became heavier. Responsibilities stacked up, expectations grew louder, and the world no longer felt like a place of possibilities. It felt like a place of pressure. I made mistakes that cost me years. I trusted the wrong people in business, lost money I couldn't afford to lose, and blame myself for every failure. There were moments when I felt like I had fallen too far to ever stand again, but something inside me refused to stay down. That was when I learned that failure is not the end. It's a brutal but honest teacher. That was my fifth lesson. You don't grow from comfort, you grow from the moments that break you. And by the time I reached my 40s, I had begun to understand the value of time, but I still didn't respect it enough. I spent too many hours worrying about things that never happened, too many days chasing things that didn't matter, and too many years forgetting to appreciate what I already had. I watched people I loved grow older, and I assumed that they would always be there. I was wrong the day I lost someone close to me. I realized how careless I had been with my time. I remembered all the moments I could have called, visited, or simply said, I love you. That was the sixth lesson. Time is not something you spend, it's something you lose. And once it's gone, it doesn't come back. In my 50s, I began to slow down, not because I wanted to, but because life forced me to. My body didn't move the way it used to. My energy wasn't the same. And for the first time, I started to feel my own limits, but with that slowing down came clarity. I started to see what truly mattered. It wasn't the money, the recognition, or the things I had spent decades chasing. It was the quiet moments, the laughter at the dinner table, the warmth of a familiar voice, the comfort of simply being understood. That was my seventh lesson. Happiness is not found in big moments, it's hidden in small ones. As I entered my 60s and 70s, the world around me began to change faster than I could keep up with. People I had grown up with started to disappear one by one, like pages being torn out of a book I wasn't ready to finish. Each loss left a silence that nothing could fill. But it also left something else, gratitude. I began to appreciate every morning I woke up, every conversation I had, every memory I could still hold on to. That was the eighth lesson. Life doesn't become more valuable because it gets easier. It becomes more valuable because you realize how little of it is left. In my 80s and 90s, I spent more time reflecting than chasing. I thought about the person I had been and the person I had become. I remembered my mistakes, my regrets, my victories, and my failures, and I realized something that changed everything. I had been too hard on myself. I had spent so many years criticizing, doubting, and pushing myself that I forgot to appreciate how far I had come. That was the ninth lesson. You are allowed to forgive yourself, even if the world never does. Now, at 102, I sit in a quiet room, much like the one I sat in as a child, but everything feels different. The noise of the world has faded, and all that remains are memories. Some of them make me smile, others bring tears to my eyes, but all of them remind me that I lived, truly lived. I didn't get everything right, I didn't become everything I once dreamed of, but I loved, I lost, I learned, and I kept going. If there's one final lesson I can leave behind, it's this. Life is not about becoming perfect, it's about becoming real. It's about feeling deeply, loving fully, failing honestly, and getting up every single time you fall. One day you'll look back at your life just like I am now, and the only thing that will matter is not how much you had, but how much you felt, how much you gave, and how much of yourself you truly lived. And when that moment comes, I hope you can sit there just like me with a quiet heart and I didn't waste it.